for a significant part of this administration, we had a private entity selecting judges and justices, particularly at the circuit and Supreme Court level. That fact has been confirmed over and over again by the Trump White House and by President Trump himself. So I don't think there's much debate over whether it's true that a private entity has had a dispositive voice in the selection of circuit and Supreme Court judges. And I think it's an unfortunate fact that group not only accepts enormous donations, but accepts enormous donations from donors who keep their identities secret. And I don't think there's a good outcome that's possible when you outsource the process of judicial selection to a private group, and that private group is allowed to accept unlimited secret donations. The notion that forces of influence won't seek to use enormous anonymous donations to buy a seat at the table where judicial selection takes place runs contrary to the entirety of human nature and political experience. So I think we have to presume that there were very significant private forces engaged behind this private group, asserting control over who got appointed to circuit and Supreme Court vacancies. That was echoed by a separate private entity, which also takes anonymous, enormous donations, providing the political firepower to push the selected nominees through the confirmation process. And when I say big donations, I'm talking about, a $17 million check. I think if somebody writes a $17 million check to the University of South Carolina, they want their name on the building.
They'd probably
Who gives a $17 million check anonymously? It's peculiar, and it adds to the concern about private interest having control over who gets on these courts. Compound that with the wreckage that has been done in the Senate of our traditions, our norms. The circuit court blue slip is an obvious bit of wreckage. Everything having to do with timing and pace of hearings and number of judges stacked up at the table in a particular hearing, providing documents, doing adequate investigations. Essentially, any time, any norm or any rule or any tradition of the Senate stood in the way of a nominee, that rule, that norm, or that bipartisan tradition got broken.